Hello, I am recording the video and today's topic is views in SQL. A view in SQL is simply a virtual table created based on a result set of another SQL statement. Views were introduced to reduce the complexity of multiple tables and deliver data in a simple manner. Views help us maintain data integrity and provide security to the data, thus acting as a security mechanism. Introduction: a functionality which might open doors to enhance coding experience. A database is a collection of tables storing some meaningful data. All the tables are connected with some form of relation, but the fundamental question that arises here is that why do we need to create so many tables and not just a single table? Multiple tables allow storing large amounts of data in a system manner rather than repeating the same data in a single table. But we cannot deny the fact that if we want to query some data from this database, we need to bring all relevant tables together to make a new table. So if we observe this issue closely, we have the advantages of storing data in multiple tables on one side, but on the other side we have the problem of querying so scattered data. The solution to this problem brings SQL views into the picture. SQL views have made managing data in table relatively easy for user. Views are virtual tables, that is, they don't exist in reality in the database, hence don't require any storage in database. Virtual table also have a row and column similar to a real table in a database. Such views are simply made by selecting data from one or more tables present in the database with some condition for selecting rows of the table. Uses of views. Views are nothing more than a statement which allows user to do the following. Views were introduced to reduce the complexity of the multiple table and deliver data in a simple manner. View hide the complexity of the data in the database as they join and simplify multiple tables into a single virtual table, which is easier for a user to understand. Being a virtual table, views take very little storage since the database contains only a views statement and not a copy of all the tables the views is creating. For example, even if we create multiple views, it still won't take much space compared to a single real table in the database. Views provide security to the data, acting as a security mechanism. Let's take a simple scenario. In an IT company, the engineer, the HR, and the manager might be using the same table for some information, but because of their different department, some data must be irrelevant to HR but relevant to the manager. If so, shouldn't there be security mechanism that would hide irrelevant information of the table from HR? Yes, views allows us to mask show some data of the table depending on requirements and security. With the help of condition, we can hide some data for a particular person. We can easily update the rows in the virtual table as the DBMS translates our request through the views. For example, let's assume that while you are working in a company, you made a view to query some data for a product to be visible on a website. Later, you remember you forgot to add some rows that the client required. You can easily use the update feature to add those rows to your views in such a situation. Views also maintain data integrity as it presents a consistent and accurate image of the data from the database even if the underlying source is restructured, renamed or split. It can automatically check the data which a user or any other third party is trying to access meets the condition mentioned in the views to maintain accuracy while displaying data. At Scalar, some people work in a different department on a particular project to publish information about the company's course. To add here to the particular data which needs to be shown at some time to the user, the technical team takes the help of the views in SQL to query the result they want. We will try understanding the whole article through the example of these tables. A view is nothing more than a SQL statement that is stored in the database with the associated name. A view is actually composition of a table in the form of predefined SQL query. A view can contain all rows of a table or select row from table. A view can be created from one or many tables, which depends on the written SQL query to create a view. View, which are a type of virtual tables, allows user to do the following: structure data in a way that users are or classes of users find natural or intuitive, restrict access to the data in such a way that a user can see and modify exactly what they need and no more. Summarize data from various tables which can be used to generate reports. In a relational database, data is structured using various database objects like a table, store procedure, views, clustered, etc. The article aims to walk you through SQL views, one of the widely used database objects in SQL Server. It is a good practice to organize tables in a database to reduce redundancy and dependency in SQL database. Normalization is the database process for organizing the data in the database by splitting large tables into smaller tables. These multiple tables are linked using the relationship. Developers write queries to retrieve data from multiple tables and columns. In the query, we might use multiple joins, and queries could become complicated and overwhelming to understand. User should also require permission on individual object to fetch the data. A view in SQL Server is like virtual table that contains data from one or multiple tables. It does not hold any data and does not exist physical in the database. Similar to a SQL table, the view name should be unique in a database. It contains a set of predefined SQL queries to fetch data from the database. It can contain database tables from single or multiple database as well. Thank you.